I have never had to create an entire video for one specific person, but I hope I don't butcher your name. No, Shashwa Tawari. Really sorry if I butchered it. My bad, my dude. But it was just it was just too much for me to just type because there's a lot going on in the Flash's timeline, so it's just easier if I break it down. Now let's see, and I'm just gonna read out the comment. I still don't understand how Thawne managed to connect Alan to the negative Speed Force, even after Alan doesn't exist. Could be assumed that Thawne somehow managed to save Eddie in order for his personal insurance in his reverse flashpoint. Okay, so I'm gonna take that first part. Barry was never connected to the negative Speed Force. The only time Barry set foot in the negative Speed Force was when he ran in there to save Nora so that she wouldn't end up turning into a reverse flash. Now, in regards to Eddie, he's dead. Like dead. When Eddie died, a version of Thought let's just we have to draw this, okay? So this is the first timeline, right? In the first timeline, this is what happens before season 1 of The Flash. Essentially, the Flash and Reverse Flash have a fight in the future. They both run into the past and end up fighting at the Flash's house in the past timeline. Reverse Flash kills Barry's mom, and Flash from the future saves his past self. When Reverse Flash kills Barry's mother, this creates timeline number 2, which would be this timeline right here. Timeline number 2, for the most part, is the timeline that all of the Flash show takes place in until it doesn't. Because, as we know, in timeline number 2, the Reverse Flash takes over the face of Harrison Wells, builds the particle accelerator, he fosters the Flash through his entire life to turn him into the Flash so that he can build up enough speed to send him to the future. They open up the portal, the Flash runs back in time. His future self basically tells him, no, this is a horrible idea. As a result, he goes back to his original timeline and he beats Reverse Flash. When I say beat, I mean the Reverse Flash whooped his ass for 5 minutes until Eddie shot himself in the chest. Now, when Eddie killed himself, the Reverse Flash's future was gone. The Reverse Flash who came from the future and ran into the past, the one who took over Harrison Wells' identity and was on the entire first timeline, the second timeline, he died when Eddie killed himself. He ceased to exist. Here's where we start getting into something tricky. During season 3, the Flash runs into Zoom, and Zoom kills Henry Allen. When that happens, the Flash runs back into the past to the point where his future self and the Reverse Flash were fighting in his room, and he stops the Reverse Flash from killing his mother. When that happens, the Flash creates a third reality, which is Flashpoint. Now, in the Flashpoint timeline, it was completely unstable. Barry had to end up basically at the end of the Flashpoint timeline, allowing the Reverse Flash to run into the past to kill his mother. The Reverse Flash and Barry run into the past. He kills Barry's mother, and then a new timeline, which is, what are we on? We're on timeline 4, the fourth timeline. A new timeline, the fourth timeline, is created. For the most part, everything that happens in the show after Zoom takes place in the fourth timeline. However, and like I said, the Flash gets like really insane in regards to like the different timelines and all this other bullshit that's going on. For instance, during season 3, like I said, we're still in the fourth timeline. The Reverse Flash, who Barry allowed to kill his mother, he leaves and ends up running into the Legends. creating his own Legends Flashpoint. This is when the Black Flash was essentially chasing him in order to kill him because the Speed Force had enough of his shit because he was a time remnant. The Black Flash chases him down in basically the Legends timeline and kills him, which reboots the timeline back to the 4th timeline. Now, where does this new version of the Reverse Flash essentially come from? The one that has Harrison Wells' face. Essentially, that version of the Reverse Flash wasn't in any of these timelines. That version of the Reverse Flash was in the Negative Speed Force, which is over here. The Negative Speed Force exists outside of time and reality. As long as there's a version of Eobard in the Negative Speed Force, he will always come back. That version of the Flash leaves that timeline. Let me zoom out a little bit. See how crazy this whole shit gets? Like, you see how crazy the writers of the Flash made all of this? This version of the Reverse Flash, who's in the Negative Speed Force, leaves, travels into the 4th timeline. In the 4th timeline, he goes to the what is that? It was during the crossover where everyone was Nazis. He goes to that world, ends up encountering the Flash. Now, during his travels, he learned basically all of the information and was able to get the memories of the original Eobard who had died back to himself. He goes and helps out the Nazis. They lose. He leaves that timeline. He goes to the future, and in the future, he gets arrested and put on death row. That's where Barry's daughter comes into like the entire mix, where she runs into the past on Eobard's suggestion to interact with her father. She runs into the past, and in doing so, creates a new timeline. So now we're on timeline 5. This is the timeline where essentially the Flash was supposed to be the only one who destroyed the satellite. Nora Allen runs into the past, helps destroy the satellite, and in doing so, changes the future. In changing the future, we get basically timeline number 5, where there are 2 cicadas, and the Reverse Flash still exists, which is in the future, he breaks free and leaves, travels back to the past to basically enact his final plan. His final plan being Flashpoint. Well, Reverse Flashpoint. Now, I actually need a whole new fucking thing for. Can I just open up a brand new one and not like lose what I just look, bruh? Like just give it to me. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about Reverse Flashpoint. Now we were on timeline 5. Reverse Flash leaves that future with Nora, runs into the past, and decides to be a nuisance. The entire arc with Flash and Godspeed occurs. They summon him from the... Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm completely forgetting something. Reverse Flash leaves the future, runs into the past, and the crisis happens. So, crisis occurs, wipes out all this, and then we're on the new 6th timeline where all the heroes exist together, right? Reverse Flash is dead because he's been pretending to be Harrison Wells for the longest time. He dies with all the other Harrison Wells. His soul exists in the Negative Speed Force, right? Because he doesn't have a body, the Flash needs his help in order to kill Godspeed. So they use the Speed Force to essentially jumpstart the Reverse Flash getting a body. Reverse Flash comes back from the Negative Speed Force and helps the Flash take down Godspeed. he ends up leaving. And by leaving, I literally mean my boy runs into the future. And when he runs into the future, after the Flash beats him, he starts plotting Reverse Flashpoint. Once he does that and he has his targets, he uses the Still Force, which the Still Force exists in the negative speed. It's the negative Still Force. He uses the negative Still Force to run into the past, change major things in Barry's life. He kills Joe West. He kills Barry when he's a child. He sets himself up as the hero of Central City. And in doing so, he creates the 7th timeline, which is the Reverse Flashpoint. Which is Reverse Flashpoint. Barry from timeline number 6 gets teleported by Still Force to the Reverse Flashpoint timeline. He's able to collapse the Reverse Flashpoint timeline and then run back to the 6th timeline. This shit is confusing. Like, they put no thought into, like, anything. They've just been throwing things at the wall for, like, the last 4 seasons. Like, people aren't gonna break it down. So I can 100% understand how this entire thing, how the Flash's entire timelines are super confusing and make no sense whatsoever. Because if we are talking about this many timeline changes, and most of them being the fault of Eobard, at some point in time, the Black Flash should have shown up and killed either Eobard or killed Nora for running around and fucking around like this. The show's use of time travel makes absolutely no fucking sense. And it's literally aggravating. I don't even think in this wild ass explanation that I just went through, breaking everything down, that it even cleared up anything for you. Because I am as confused understanding what's going on as you are looking in going, what the fuck is happening? Like, I hope this clears some stuff up. Like, it's super confusing. Like, it's really confusing. But this is basically how they've structured the timelines on the show. And I it's so bad. Like, I'm actually I'm impressed that I was able to read your comment, and then I realized that this needed its like a whole video into itself, explaining this madness that the show writers have literally they've just been doing whatever the fuck they want. And to be quite honest, I'm kind of happy that the Flash is ending. I was really holding out for the fact that we'd probably get the original timeline Barry. Like I said, nothing in this show has ever happened on the original timeline at no point in time. But yeah, that's basically how the timelines work in the Flash, my guy. I hope this cleared it up for you. I have I I have a headache. And I need sleep. Oh my god, this was absolutely horrible. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, because I'm probably not gonna break out Microsoft Paint again to break down how the timelines work. I hope you appreciate this. I hope you appreciate this, brother. Alright, man. Peace.